good. Very good. Question for you.
Hey, Wad, here they come.
Do you remember the name of the Russian officer and the California woman who had been over in 1820 or 30?
Well, she says, I'm afraid I do not remember the name, but I know exactly who you're talking about, because it's a legendary historic film. I recall that, yes. Well known in Monterey. I'm sorry.
I should have this on my YouTube channel for tomorrow. All the skills will be on Native Sons Facebook page tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the proclamation of Commodore Sloat, presented as by Carl von Bargen, Grand Trustee, Native Sons of the Golden West.
All right, beyond that, I can't. And the initial thing. And this was take place in Lincoln. Okay, all right, let's go forward.
Proclamation of Commodore Sloat. To the inhabitants of California, the central government of Mexico, having committed hostilities against the United States of America by invading its territory and attacking the troops of the United States stationed on the north side of the Rio Grande, and with a force of 7,000 men under command of General Artis, which army was totally destroyed, and all of their military, artillery, baggage, and chattel captured on the 8th and 9th of May last by a force of 2,300 men under the command of General Taylor, and the city of Matamoros taken and occupied by the forces of the United States, and the two nations being actually at war by this transaction, I shall hoist the standard of the United States at Monterey immediately and shall carry it throughout California. I declare to the inhabitants of California that although I come in arms with a powerful force, I do not come among them as an enemy to California. On the contrary, I come as their best friend, as henceforth California will be a portion of the United States, and its peaceable inhabitants will enjoy the same rights and privileges they now enjoy, together with the privileges of choosing their own magistrates and other officers for the administration of justice among themselves, and the same protection will be extended to them as to any other state in the Union. They will also enjoy a permanent government under which life, property, and the constitutional right and lawful security to worship the Creator in the way most congenial to each one's sense of duty will be secured, which unfortunately the central government of Mexico cannot afford them, destroyed as her resources are by internal factions and corrupt officers who create constant revolution to promote their own interests and to oppress the people. Under the flag of the United States, California will be free from all such troubles and expense. Consequently, the country will rapidly advance and improve both in agriculture and commerce, as of course the revenue laws will be the same in California as in all other parts of the United States, affording them all manufacturers and produce of the United States free of any duty and all foreign goods at 1/4 the duty they now pay. A great increase in the value of real estate and the products of California may also be anticipated. With the great interest and kind feelings I know the government and people of the United States possess toward the citizens of California, the country cannot but improve more rapidly than any other on the continent of America. Such of the inhabitants of California, whether natives or foreigners, as may not be disposed to accept the high privileges of citizenship and to live peaceably under the government of the United States, will be allowed time to dispose of their property and to remove out of the country, if they choose, without any restriction, or remain in it, observing strict neutrality. With full confidence in the honor and integrity of the inhabitants of the country, I invite the judges, arcades, and other civil officers to retain their offices and to execute their function as heretofore, that the public tranquility may not be disturbed, at least until the government of the territory can be more definitely arranged. All persons holding titles to real estate or in quiet possession of lands under a color of right shall have those titles and rights guaranteed them. All churches and the property they contain in possession of the clergy of California shall continue in the same rights and possessions they now enjoy. All provisions and supplies of every kind furnished by the inhabitants for the use of the United States ships and soldiers will be paid for at fair rates, and no private property will be taken for public use without just compensation at that moment. Commodore John D. Sloat at Monterey, July 7th, 1846.
What you've witnessed today took the events 3 years later to have the California Constitutional Convention of 1849. 6.5 weeks of 63 men yelling at each other, and California is born. A year later, 1850, California becomes a state. But it wouldn't have happened without the events as portrayed today. We will now have closing statements from the native Sons of the Golden West, Eric Christensen.
On behalf of the Native sons and Native daughters of the Golden West, I thank you all for coming today. Many, many years ago, in the early 1900s, the Native sons of the Golden West took it upon themselves, through members who were in the United States Congress, to obtain the lease to the Monterey Customs House for the benefit of people of Monterey and California. Many years later, they lobbied to have that lease turned over to the state, and ultimately the Customs House became the property of the state of California. If you enjoyed the ceremony you saw today, if you have an interest in history, I strongly encourage you to become involved with the Native Sons of the Golden West and visit our website at nsgw.org. And on behalf of the Native Sons and Daughters, I would like to thank the committee that put this on, who did an amazing job. The members of Monterey 75, Kathy and Carrie Pierce, and if you'd like to help them next year, I'm sure they would welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you for attending. We would like to thank the Monterey Community Band, the Native Sons of the Golden West, state parks, the city, the state, everybody who has participated, but we would also most like to thank you for being in attendance. Thank you.
South Dakota Shire. Lieutenant Scott Hancock, Armisted's best friend. My sister Grant served in my hometown. Hated it. So you have this huge connection with California, and as a former Civil War reenactor, we tend to focus on Virginia and the Trans-Mississippi. No one looked here at where the money comes from. Where were these guys posted after the Mexican War, before the Civil War? My nephew. You've done very astute to pick up on that because that's not what you're doing. Well, that's great history in your sense when you're going to be next actual scholarly article. That's going to be some we had no reason to be a photograph and maybe about 4 or 5 pages. We went out to dinner. My sister and her husband. Michael was so excited. But currently I'm reading the latest book by Dr. Bob Kelso from Jamestown on his discoveries at Jamestown. And the funny thing is my daughter, a couple of years back, I took her to Jamestown, and Kelso was there, supervising the ticket for the church in Jamestown, and she watched